Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we're preparing for our final series of the day. Immortals Academy taking on Golden Guardians Academy to round things out for us. One of these teams is going to be walking away very happy because neither of them have a victory yet, but hey, we know that that's going to change here. Cubby, I know that we're going to be hopping right into pick and ban here quickly because the teams are already ready to go. Let's give a quick breakdown of what we expect to see in this series.
Yeah, so what we expect to see is new faces for both of these teams as we hop into the Academy split. Immortals themselves, last split they had Tipoon and Potluck in the top lane, or top and jungle. This split they actually picked up Viper and Anda, two players that you might be familiar with from past LCS and Academy rosters, or if you watch Proving Grounds, they were the top side for the victorious No Org, the amateur team that won all of Proving Grounds, whereas for Golden Guardians, a lot of their changes were internal, right? Chime got promoted. They picked up Solo to go to the LCS, and that means that Niles and Newbie are now the starting top and support for GGA, respectively. So it's going to be interesting to see both these teams because I know fitting these rosters in early and kind of getting used to it. I know, like, speaking with Prismo, they're like, yeah, like, we feel good. Like, we make new mistakes sometimes. And then speaking with Jensen for Immortals, they feel okay, but they still don't have Viper and Anda on site yet. So they're still waiting for them to get to the Immortals facilities to kind of be at full strength. So I'm kind of curious to see what we see out of both these rosters because I'm waiting to see the strength. I want to see the strength from each of them.
I mean, I know it's kind of a meme to talk about ping in North America right now, but when you're playing from home in Canada, that is unfortunately part of the equation here. But they still had a pretty good performance yesterday. Honestly, these two teams, they're both 0-1 right now, or I guess 0-2 because 2 losses. But they both looked like the teams that were probably the strongest out of all the teams that didn't pick up a win yesterday. I think especially Golden Guardians. Like, they were up against Cloud9, but they still were kind of showing up and hanging out in that first game.
Yeah, I thought they played out Game 1 pretty well. Playing through Prismal is something that Golden Guardians has been part of their recipe for success for a lot of the wins that they were able to find in Proving Grounds. Where keep in mind, this team with the roster from last split, they went from 9th place in the regular season to winning Giant Slayer, the tier 1 that they needed to compete in order to qualify for Proving Grounds. And then they ended up taking a pretty decent finish where, 7th, 8th out of the 16 teams, going from 9 out of 10. It was improvement for Golden Guardians throughout the split, especially with a very young mid-jungle duo in Yunbi and Rosethorn. It was their first split playing competitively in Academy, so really nice to see them make those strides, and excited to see if they can make more of those strides for the young players, especially with Niles stepping into the top lane after a split on LCS. This is his second split playing competitively in the big league still, and want to see if we see some more moments of the carry potential that we know that Niles packs when he comes out of the Rift.
I'm excited to track the Niles story continually throughout the summer. I think this is something we'll probably come back to multiple times throughout broadcasts, is just tracking the development of this player. He went into LCS, and I mean, that's just jumping right into the deep end, right? Now he's back in Academy. We'll see what he's able to do here and hang, but he's up against Viper, who is still a very deadly opponent on the top half of the map. Viper, throughout the Proving Ground circuit, was just dominating everybody, right? He was killing lanes left and right. So if we're talking about the top lane matchup, we know that these are two top like play aggressively. Factoring in the meta, factoring in the rest of the teams and the rosters, who do you think is going to be advantaged in this matchup?
Ooh, that's actually interesting because both teams look very different coming in, just given the people they have. I think there's a little bit more hype behind Immortals, given the fact that Viper and Anda, two faces that we've seen. I mean, keep in mind, Anda, he was the jungler for 100 Thieves at Worlds, right? When they went to Worlds in 2018. He's someone that I think a lot of people are excited about, and I know from talking with Viper a lot, doing the semi-pro and amateur events, he picked up so much confidence playing in Proving Grounds. The 90 games that he had to play throughout the 6 amateur tournaments or 4 that no one competed in, and then Proving Grounds. Like, he was like, I feel like a different player, right? Like, I have my carry potential back, I have my swagger back, and I think that people are really excited for this Immortals roster because it feels like they have a strong top side. Pretty's been very hyped up from EU coming off of the Vodafone Giants. And also the bot side, Keith and Joey. I thought Joey had a great split last split as a support. So if Immortals can keep up that track record, I think a lot of people have high hopes for them here in Academy.
Well, Immortals Academy, I find themselves on the blue side, which means potentially those Lulu bands coming through. But Golden Guardians with the solid red side bands, the Udyr, the Gwen, and Immortals, they actually go for the Tom Kench, Thresh, and Nocturne.
Yeah, so respecting the Senna Kench from Prismal and Newbie, We've seen them. So GGA, we have a little bit more data on them, actually, as they were competing in Challenges Uprising on Tuesday. I was one of the people that casted their series against Zeus Gaming, where they did drop 0-3 in the quarterfinals. Zeus, a team that you might be familiar with, in Proving Grounds, team that knocked out TSM and took a respectable 9-12 finish as an amateur squad. Their roster this year includes players like Alorum, Griffin, and Tuesday, so a lot of experience. GGA did drop 0-3 to them. So we're going to see if GGA can bounce back. And they have been playing a lot of Lulu Kindred. Now, you need to play this into Rumble. Rumble has not been shown. IMT did first pick Lee Sin, but I'm curious to see if GGA just busted out here.
I mean, I'm not convinced that you have to play it into the Rumble. I feel like you could play it into multiple comps, but they're opting for the Rumble themselves, which is scary because now Immortals Academy, if they play this Lulu Kindred that we've been seeing throughout multiple teams, multiple days now, they could lock it in. But we do get the Rumble plus Renekton combo, still a very strong start for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, and this could easily lead to Anda responding with Morgana, would be a champion that I don't think we've seen yet.
She got hit with some big nerfs in the jungle.
The
Her clear speed is much slower.
Her clear speed is a lot slower, and I'd be surprised to see if Anda went for that instead. It's going to be a very early Elise, so despite the nerfs, a second jungler taking this one out. I know that Anda actually played this in Proving Grounds last split, had 5 games of it, and Anda's specialty was really blowing up the top side with Viper on Nowhere. This is a champion that you can do that with very, very easily. So want to see if he's able to utilize the Elise. We saw Acadian get ahead in the last game, but wasn't able to snowball that into a lead that they needed to get a victory. Let's see if Anda can do that this game.
I mean, they got the Lee Sin, but the Renekton has been the answer. So if they're trying to blow out a top lane, could be a tough one to do, but we have also seen that can come down to a skill matchup. We've seen the Lee Sin beat the Renekton as well, but the Kai'Sa's locked in here for Immortals Academy, showing off their AD carry, and Golden Guardians are answering with an AD carry of their own, but not necessarily locked into the bot lane.
Kai'Sa was Keith's most played last split in Proving Grounds. He did play it yesterday in Game 2 of their loss going up against 100 Thieves, who looked very dominant in that series. As we're going to see a lot of supports taken off the table here, as Golden Guardians, I think they're going to try and get... they could pick support on 4 and hold on to that Tristana flex. So I'm kind of curious to see if they ban out 2 counters to a support that they might want, and then go from there in the draft, as they are going to take away Alistar. I'd expect Immortals to take away Nautilus here, especially considering how powerful the Nautilus Rumble combo is.
There's a lot of engaged support still in the meta. It's so hard to pinch them down all the way, but I mean, there's enough bans that the teams could if they want to. Nautilus is banned out, Cubby, so there you go. You get your wish. That leaves things like Leona, that leaves things like Rel, but I'm still not super sold on the Rel. I was hoping to see more of her at MSI, but I think that we've seen now, the few times that she has been played, that she's kind of feast or famine on her own right. You know, she's got to find the right engage.
She went through some pretty big nerfs, but I like where Rel is right now, because if you get champions that synergize well with Rel, like Lee Sin or like Nocturne, she feels really good. But if you don't, she's not as strong. And I feel like that's kind of an appropriate spot for her as a champion. Tristana, Renekton, 2 champions that do synergize pretty well with that champion. And so I'm kind of curious to see if IMT take that away, or if they handshake. Joey's most played champion is Leona, and he did pull it out yesterday. So could just be the handshake on supports there, leaving them both up and trying to take whichever one they want.
No, we got all support bans coming. I know
Set
can be flexed around, but has been played a lot in the support role, which means that Rel is that primary engaged support left on the table, locked in for Golden Guardians.
Probably means that we see Braum here for Immortals, and they do also have the option to take Lucian if they want to secure some more priority for Anda on Elise in the mid lane. Braum is something that deals pretty well with melees. 2 marksmen could help auto. That would be an option. Another option would be Akali. We've seen Niles play this champion at the top lane. Viper's also known for it. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Wow, Cubby.
I want to see the Akali. It would have been fun.
We got a Rakan locked in. That's locked in. That's a squishy champion against a lot of damage on the side of Golden Guardians. But, I mean, if they want an engaged support, it counts, right? I mean, it still goes in. It can still start the fights for them.
It's very true. I also like Rakan a lot when you're secondary engage, or when you get to piggyback off of melee champions to kind of get you in the fight. We can ult, E to them, and then hit a W on a priority target to make sure that you're able to get in. And then we see the accursed Viego, as the Ruin King is 0-4 so far. And Immortals trying to change the tone and the pace of that. They did play this yesterday for Pretty in game 1. Did not go well. But hey, maybe this game with Elise, they can blow up the game as Golden Guardians.
This would be the where you're not having fun kind of lane. And honestly, I think this is similar, right? I mean, that's a lot of range. And we did see some buffs to Azir's Q as well. I believe it was the mana went down, so you can spam that out a little bit more here. So, yeah, I mean, the composition from Golden Guardians Academy coming together. Immortals show it. It feels like we keep getting these splits right now, Cubby, where it's like one team entirely focused on the early game, lane priority with things like Lee Sin, these early game junglers with things like the Elise, and then on the other side it's scaling, but at least Golden Guardians have a little bit of both this time around.
I really like Golden Guardians comp. I feel like Rel synergizes well with everything that they have on the table, and it's going to be up to Immortals to try and use that early lane priority, Kangas, to kind of break the team fight that Golden Guardians is going to have available to them. And if they do get early leads and then get Viego resets, that is where the champion is very strong. That said, I think it's pretty tough to get mid lane priority for Elise, and that's something that's very important for her kit and in this match, but she needs to get up in the face of Rumble in order to have success.
Yeah. This is the flaw that we've seen from the Viego so far. It's that he really doesn't have any priority in mid lane. He loses to things like Lulu, he loses to things like Set, he's lost to things like Orianna, and now the Azir. I mean, I don't know if Viego's got winning matchups at this point. It's like, what's your ideal setup for this guy? I think you want to get him out of that laning phase, get towards that one item power spike, and then start resetting in those team fights. But then you pair that with what the rest of the team wants to do, starts to get a little more questionable here. So I feel like teams just keep getting baited into this, but I am so ready to be proven wrong, Cubby. I'm so ready for a Viego to pop off and show that he is the top dog of the latest champs being released, because otherwise, Riot's just going to buff him like crazy on the next patch. But we'll have to wait and see as Immortals versus Golden Guardians loaded up here onto the Rift. Please, no one from the design team come after me. Riot August, I love you, man.
I was saying because I thought they were going to engage on bot, but
Oh, I thought you were reacting to my dig. All right, well.
No, I mean, come on. Am I going to listen to your balance recommendations, Kangas? Come on. Only on Brawl.
Hey, I have a lot of great ideas for balancing champions. I got a lot of great ideas for new champions as well. Hear me out. A support that just has an ability that drops a ward. I know. I know. I'm a genius. You can hire me anytime, Riot Games.
Isn't that just like Yumi when you aren't attached to an enemy or one of your allies?
Oh no, that is being a ward as a support.
Okay.
I'm saying one that has the ability to drop one time.
Just double checking there as
exactly.
Get into this game and look at this early setup here for Immortals, Kangas. Elise Lee Sin already on an enemy buff against Golden Guardians, and this is not scouted out.
Yeah, we see the invade coming through from Anda. He picks this one up, and where does he want to go with that next? Because we've seen the Elise doing this into the Rumble already today, and I like it conceptually because it's like Rumble can't really answer you. If Rosemore passes towards the top side and finds you, Anda can just get a kill, right? But Anda doesn't really want to stick around for it. Instead, he's backing off as Viper and Niles pretty aggressively on the top half of the map. That might just mean that Anda can go up there.
Anda trying to take advantage of the fact that Elise clears the single target camps really well. So going to path enemy red to blue, most likely take a pit stop at Gromp, and that's where Elise has choices, right? Is Elise going to work towards the bottom side of the map, or is Elise going to try and make a gank once that level 3 is obtained? And GG, they don't scout this out on Vision, but Rosethorn, he feels it in his bones that Anda took his red buff, so he's going to sneak into the bot side jungle here of the Elise and take away the Raptors that Rumble can light on fire rather easily. Those chicky nuggies looking rather crispy with the Flame Spitter. Going to take that one, walk on out. Good play here for Rosethorn.
They didn't see Anda on the top half of the map, but they did see he wasn't on the Raptors. But look at this. Niles going all in on the Viper.
Oh!
Gets the first blood, 1v1. Flashes the wall. He's out. Anda can't follow that up. Maybe Viego can answer. Pretty is roaming up here, but no, Niles is good to go. Well played by Niles coming into Academy saying, Viper, I know you got LCS experience, but guess what, buddy? I do too.
Disastrous start here for Immortals. That early game plan is broken, and Elise already has lost her entire bot side jungle. Needs to go back to the Crab. Try to invade the Raptors now against Rosethorn, but there might be a dive bot. I don't think they can go for this, but Newbie, I think just positioning here to make sure that Rosethorn is able to obtain the Krugs easily. Gonna move on to the next Crab. as Immortals set behind very heavily in the early game, thanks to Niles and that solo kill in the top lane.
Yeah, he's going to be a little down in CS. Viper's done a great job of freezing this wave and catching all this XP and gold for himself. But the River Scuttle on the bottom half is picked up now. It looked like Immortals might have been looking to contest that, but Golden Guardians get it. They get out. And yeah, that gold going over to Niles. He gets it back. He picks up the Longsword and the Ruby Crystal. That's a lot of stats over Viper right now in the game. So Viper at least didn't have to flash, but let's take another look at how exactly this happened.
Renekton, Stronk, lots autos, gets stacks, kill.
Yeah.
That's how it happened. Yep.
Great color breakdown, Cubby.
I'm trying to work on my word economy here, King.
That's why we love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got audio broadcasts to get prepped for, so you got to make sure that you're very efficient with your talking. Viper, though, is level 5. Niles just jumps right into the wave, is getting the stuns. Rosethorn's joined in. Could look to flash this, but Viper has flash available as well, backs off, so they do spot out Rosethorn in the top half.
And Rosethorn able to pick up these camps, really going to accelerate ahead of the Elise. You look at the camps on the side of Immortals map, Kangas. The Raptors are about to spawn, but nothing else is available for the Elise, as Pretty needs to walk in, find the trinket, maybe open things up for Elise to get an evade, and Joey is here to help out as well. Immortals, they know they have to utilize this early power and get up in the face of Rosethorn on the Rumble.
He doesn't realize that the Elise was over the wall. Flashes, but Joey following up. Oh, they interrupt the dash. He does get back to the safety of his own turret. They can't kill him. I think the Raptors were actually saving him right there from some of the skill shots from Amanda.
Yeah, Yunbi, he pathed down to be able to not have any enemy champions in between him and his soldier, because if he hits one, he stops, so that guarantees he's able to get over the wall, survives the gank. A nice attempt here from Immortals. They don't have any plays on the map at that point, almost find something very positive for themselves. Instead, they do get both summoner spells off of Yunbi, so it at least gives Anda a place to look here in the next 4 minutes, try and make another positive play and try and get Immortals going on the Rift, because if Elise doesn't get going, she just falls further and further behind. And look at that jungle CS right now, and the fact that Rosethorn is on this dragon. Rumble has not been stopped and is going to get that early level 6 and bring so much team fighting power. Elise missed out on that window to really punish Rosethorn, and now Rosethorn is going to feel really good on this pick for pretty much the rest of the game, as long as Elise doesn't find him solo in the jungle.
When we saw the Elise played earlier today, by the side of Dignitas, they at least got a couple kills earlier on, right? They were trying to make things happen, get aggressive, get up in the enemy's face, but Hannah just hasn't found any plays yet. None that he wants to commit to, and now I also really struggling with lane priority around the waves. We saw Lee Sin get the better of a Renekton earlier yesterday, but Niles on the Renekton saying, no, there's a reason that I drafted this and picked it into your Lee Sin. Had that first kill, and now also Yunbi with his perma-shove mid means that it's actually Rosethorn that's controlling the jungle, controlling the river through priority in these lanes.
Yeah, and I like how you pointed that out, Kangas, because one of the nice parts about Azir in this matchup, the fact that, obviously, when we saw Elise last game, right, Orianna needs to opt for the cleanse, especially against the Renekton, just to prevent that chain CC. Because Azir has the mobility on the soldiers, is able to opt for the teleport and, dodge out of the ganks. Oh.
Level 6 Rosethorn, and I think Rosethorn just hit level 6 off of that. Anda might have just wanted to smite steal that away. He had vision on it, I have to imagine, but allows that to go over. Now Yunbi, seeing that there are enemies nearby, will back off here. At least Anda's trying, right? Like, at this point, he is getting up in the face of Rosethorn, but you're 20 CS down at this point, so might be a little late.
He's going to deny the Raptor camp and make things a little bit awkward here for Rosethorn, as trying to prevent Niles from getting dove in the top lane. Realizes that the Raptor camp is most definitely doomed, and most likely going to base or start walking towards that bot side camp instead. Really making sure that Anda is not here to punish Niles. He does not want this lane to be touched. He wants the 1v1. He thinks he can take Viper right now.
Conqueror proc for Niles. Not procced yet for Viper. Oh, really well played by Niles, actually, playing around that Keystone Rune of Viper. So Viper just has to heal up a little bit with his potion, back off. Rosethorn was hanging around just in case it continued for longer, but now with Prio on the top side yet again, Newbie even roams in from the bottom half of the map, a player that we haven't really talked about yet, but one of those newer substitutes in for the Golden Guardians. It was Niles and Newbies coming into the Academy squad, and I'm happy to see Newbie getting out of lane on this rel, roaming around trying to impact the map, because If you can't get much done bot side, that means, hey, play through Yunbi, play through this shove mid, because now you get priority around this Rift Herald.
Yeah, and I know that from talking with Prismal about kind of incorporating Newbie into this roster, he said one of the things he really likes about Newbie is the fact that he's a game planner, right? He is really good at planning plays in advance, is what Prismal said, and it adds a lot to the team. And good to see Newbie trying to help out with the cross-map play there, as Golden Guardians are able to obtain that Rift Herald for themselves, and to try and use Shelly in a positive manner. I think that a lot of options here, right? Funneling it onto Azir or Tristana of these big siege carries that are going to be ripping through towers as the game goes on might be a good option, or just could put it on Niles, as he can, hopefully with some more gold, keep on sustaining the lead that he's managed to make for himself in this top lane with that solo kill.
They also get the Rift Herald, and I wouldn't be surprised if Golden Guardians drop it top, but look at Viper. Ooh! Doesn't quite get the Dragon's Rage off in time. I guess he didn't even get it off after the flash. So typically you'd want to use that Dragon's Rage and then flash behind, get that insect play, but Rosethorn gets out. He's fine. He walks away. Viper not finding the play onto the jungler, and they committed teleport for it too.
Gonna chalk that one up to Canada diff there, as Viper wasn't quite able to land the combo. Zunbi, though, might be caught. Gonna have to use a good old shuffle to get over that wall. He's gonna see the control ward for it as relatively quiet early game. But we saw the quiet early game pay off against the Elise in the last set, Kangas, the game 2. Elise, once she gets behind, is not as useful as the Rumble moving forward in this game, and Golden Guardians just biding their time, waiting for when they feel like they can start to take some favorable plays in Immortals. You see Joey trying to really roam up and down this river to find a positive look for themselves. They weren't even able to really punish Yunbi's flash being down. So Immortals really lacking on the tempo and positive play so far, as Rosethorn now
Rosethorn, though. Again, no flash on the Rumble, so he is actually caught. He's stuck right here. And Joey picks up the kill. Nice. Nicely done from Immortals. Now Pretty looking for more. Newbie, Prismal, Yunbi all grouped up here on the bottom half. It's a 3v3. Pretty's just walking forward. Not going to quite get the resets, but they got the kill. I think that's good enough. And now on the bottom side, Prismal and Keith are just 1v1ing. No one's going down. 80 carries just stat checking each other at this stage of the game. Taking each other down to about half health. Dragon spawning in 5 seconds. And Rosethorn's back on the map. So, I mean, it's a kill for Immortals, but game state-wise, we're still kind of back to even. Immortals don't like that, so they're hoping to get onto Newbie, but don't actually lock him down.
Yeah, nice trade there from Keith. They actually might be trading enough where this Dragon might be an option, as Rosethorn is pathing down and trying to track Rosethorn and find the Rumble call out in the jungle.
I'm trying to see if there was a ward. I don't think that there was a ward that spotted him, so they don't know that Rosethorn's here. And now they see Anda. Now they see Pretty. And there we go. Jumping in goes Prismal. He's trying to get that damage down. Rosethorn's here. He's able to route multiple members, but that's a lot of members of Immortals, actually. Way more than Golden Guardians were expecting. And Rosethorn caught out for the rest of his team. Everyone else gets to safety. Unfortunately, the Rumble goes down twice through the extended play, and the Dragon is finally secured by Immortals.
Yeah, with all the vision toggling going on, Golden Guardians and ourselves, Kangas, we missed the fact that Viper teleported to be a part of that play. The numbers advantage, Rosethorn getting too far up, the flash being down. This is what Immortals needs to do in that jungle matchup, right? Blow Rumble's flash, get up in his face, keep on forcing that with skirmishes. Well played from them. It is an expensive play. Niles got 3 points for himself in the top lane, and that matchup was already going pretty well for the Renekton. If he bases, he should have access to Gore Drinker. I believe that's going to be the item of choice against all the melee champs for Immortals.
Not backing yet, though. They're looking for the play. Ooh, yeah. Yunbi throws out the Emperor's Divide, but the repel was available. Now they re-engage. Coming in from Joey. He's trying to lock down multiple members. Gets the ultimate onto 2, but Niles! 1v1's Pretty over the wall. Viper has to kick him back. That is a big crocodile and a very mechanically intensive top laner. Niles picking up a kill, and Golden Guardians winning out on the skirmish.
Renekton too much for the Viego to deal with, as Shelly going to take first brick. All the gold goes over to Niles, as he's going to walk out of that one feeling real good. It should be a big base for the Renekton. And Kangas, when you look at the side laners for Immortals, they can't deal with a fed Crocodile. Both Lee Sin and Viego are really going to struggle in that side lane matchup. This is going to give Golden Guardians a point of power in the side lane, and the ability to now bridge into the mid to late game where Azir and Tristana both really hit their stride. So this early game for Golden Guardians going very well and setting up very much for success as the game moves on.
And this is also turret plates going over to Yunbi. So, I mean, multiple carry threats on the side of Golden Guardians are getting gold here. But yeah, here we go. Gore Drinker completed for Niles. Actually also completed for Viper at about the same time. So at least he's staying, you know, at least relevant. But take another look there. Yunbi misses the first engage, but Niles just does too much damage.
Yeah, Niles flashes on Pretty. Auto, empowered W to get the triple auto. Squeezes in another auto into the empowered Q. And Pretty just melts in the face of the Crocodile. As no chance for the Viego there to make any plays. And that said, curiously enough, actually, Anda going for, looks like to be a Rift Maker on the Elise, so more power in
press the attack also.
Fights. Yeah, so press the attack. You're able to get that off very quickly on Elise because you can auto Q auto in Spider form. And that pretty much instantly, you know, gives you the ability to proc PTA. And the buff early actually makes you very powerful in skirmishes. But Riftmaker I haven't seen. Might make her a lot stronger in melee form. Is Rosethorn.
Joey trying to engage, but look at it again. Niles out to Pretty again. The shuffle pulls Joey back, and Golden Guardians have too many members mid. They make the play happen. They burn through Immortals, and that was a strange start to that fight. I don't know what exactly they were fighting for, but Golden Guardians win it.
Well, I don't know what they were fighting for, and if I'm Immortals, I don't think they knew which members they wanted to fight, as that was a split engage, Kangas. We had Joey engaging on one flank, and then we had Anda and the rest of the team engaging on another, and Niles sees that split, says, I have all this gold, I'm renekton, I love when people dive into me, takes the fight, gets the kill for himself, and continues to snowball this lead forward for Golden Guardians, as with this turret going down, we've now opened up a 2.5k gold lead on the Rift, and with 90 seconds out till Dragon, have the ability to get a pretty easy reset off here and put themselves in a very favorable position to take this first Ocean Dragon, as we do have Ocean Soul on the Rift.
This is turning into a scrappy game, Cubby. It's not exactly the cleanest play, but it's definitely entertaining and it's definitely high tempo. You can tell that these teams both came in here and said, we want to fight, we want to get our gold leads, and then turn that into other objectives afterward. We'll figure it out. You know, it's start with the fights and then grab the spoils after we've secured that bag, as Rosethorn does actually get the blue buff steal here. Viper will spot out that Niles was around the area. I don't think that they spotted Rosethorn, but yeah, Dragon's going to be up in 50 seconds. We expect resets. We expect money to be spent, and then probably just another fight for an objective.
And if you're Golden Guardians, that's exactly what you want at this point, right? You have this very powerful renekton into a team comp that has to jump into you, and team fighting with Rel, Rumble, ultimates up. That's a good life here for Golden Guardians. I think they're very happy to set up for this Dragon as we see them getting back out onto the Rift with 20 seconds before this Ocean spawns. It seems like Immortals, they want to answer. Kangas, let's keep our eye out for when Keith Killer Instincts and if he's able to assassinate a member with Pretty, and if Pretty gets the resets, or let's keep our eyes on Newbie, and if him and Rosethorn are able to sync up those big ultimates to really make sure that IMTA are staying on the red carpet and barbecuing for the side of Golden Guardians.
Or if they can just get a catch. Okay. Viper's out as Elise, and he's quite mobile. Man, Immortals had the inside track of Vision right now, and now they're on a ward. This is not necessarily the best look, but they do find the engagement on Niles! They burst out Niles to start the fight, but Newbie with the flank. That's the combo you're looking for. Pretty forced out. Prismal untouched. This Tristana outputting a lot of damage in these fights, but now here we go. Viper jumps in. That's the Rel combo with the Lee Sin. Actually, Rel has the counter to the Lee Sin. They're trying to stun him up. Now it's actually Immortals on the blue buff. They're backing away. They haven't gotten the Dragon. Kind of awkward now with the positioning because Golden Guardians have the inside track of this objective, and they're going to start it up. Okay, so end of the day, Immortals, they got the kill onto Niles, but they don't really secure an objective for it.
I don't know what I'm more surprised about, the fact that Niles melted like that, or IMT just kind of see this objective. I guess they were going for more kills with the ultimates and just weren't quite able to sync that up. Newbie had a nice interrupt onto Viper, who wasn't able to get the ward hop into the kick back. I think if they find that, they're able to snowball the fight a lot further. But because they weren't able to find that, not enough ultimates up where they felt like they can continue to fight, Kangas instead just goes over to Golden Guardians.
Yeah, it felt like Immortals did such a good job of setting up Vision to start that off, and then they just back off and let Golden Guardians walk in and clear it all. This was the engage. This is that burst.
This was surprising, but I guess Kai'Sa has the empowered Q at this point, and Newbie, really nice turn. They were able to sync up those ultimates, but at this point, we're thinking when Viper connects this Sonic Wave, hey, maybe it's enough. Maybe they can, turn this, but a beautiful stun from Newbie with the Attract Repel forces Rosethorn to go the wrong way. Pretty's too low to continue the fight. Golden Guardians, despite being down a member, do have full health bars and ultimates available. And Immortals just kind of play the chicken dance, go around, say, all right, we're going to take some lane, CS, XP. Take that. You guys can have that dragon. We'll see you again at the next one.
They also maybe were a little, hesitant to take the fight just based on how the last couple have gone, right? This has been multiple plays going in the favor of Golden Guardians, and when you think about tempo swings like that, even if you're up a man, you'd be threatening to try and make the next play, but you gotta be on the top half of the map. He's got some backup here. It seems like they're trying to siege this turret. There's really no objectives to take. Maybe they're just waiting for somebody to walk up and attempt to get into this jungle. Golden Guardians just kind of playing with the vision, seeing if they can catch any members out. Again, scrappy gameplay here, Covey. Not a big focus on the clean macro, focus on these objectives, but just as I say, that at least turret in the mid lane will go down for Guardians.
And Golden Guardians still have shoved. They feel very far ahead, and this is, I know it's a 3K Goldie, but also it's kind of what happens when you pick Elise and things don't go your way, as now Viper.
He's fine. He's able to get away from that. Niles not committing to the dive, and multiple members of Immortals were there to back him up. But the turret top side, the wave's still shoved in there. Immortals not really catching these waves. They're playing very reactively here, feeling out Golden Guardians, trying to figure out where they're located, and right now Golden Guardians have all this vision control. Look at the burst from Prismal. Just takes out Joey on his own.
All right, Prismal, he's got the Kraken Slayer, and apparently that's all he needs to take out Joey as he melts, and Golden Guardians continue to find small advantages and keep pushing the game forward. And Kangas at this point, I mean, yeah, they're up 3K, but this Azir Tristana, we started to talk about how strong they get throughout the game, the more items they end up putting in their pockets. Level 11, level 13 for the Tristana and Azir, respectively, both mythics finished, and once Yunbi gets this Zanya's Hourglass wrapped up, and doesn't even have to go it because it can just sit on the stopwatch if he so chooses, because it is going to be a Nashor's. The playmaking here for Golden Guardians is going to be way too much for Immortals to deal with, and really just going to have to keep on looking for skirmishes like this. I would not be surprised if they force. Yeah.
Pretty. Missing the Heartbreak, unfortunately, onto Niles, but that is flash out of Niles as well. So, is Baron started up here? They're on it. Yeah, no, there's no way. They don't have the DPS to actually take that down. Gold swing into Golden Guardians' favor here, but Immortals doing their best to try and stay in this one. They are on that timer, though, Cubby, like you just highlighted with all the scaling options of Golden Guardians, so needing to find a play. Yunbi, though, he's got the shuffle, or the Emperor's Divide. He just pushes Viper right back. At least Viper can try and look to repeat that. He didn't use his kick.
Yeah, not a bad look there from Viper. Gets that ultimate out for free. It should be up for the next Dragon Kangas, which is spawning in 1 minute. We did sign the gentleman's agreement going into this one. Best of two. We only fight at Dragons, as both Immortals and Guardians seem to put pen to paper. And Viper, we're going to have to see if Lee Sin is able to find an angle or a flank. I think that's the big thing that Immortals need going into this one, right? Find a flank, try and force Azir to fight on the multiple fronts, because if you front to back against Azir Tristana, it is impossible for you to win at this point if you are Immortals. So let's see if Viper is able to get in that backline with Joey, try and force some awkward terrain, and see if they can get a reset over for Pretty. Your Golden Guardians, set up the map, fight front to back. Tristana, Azir will take care of the rest of business for you.
And also get Pretty back there, too, because Pretty's completed 2 items, Mythic, as well as the Blade of the Rune King, so Pretty can actually be a really big threat right now. And look at Joey, Prismal's so willing to just jump in at the Rakan. Dangerous proposition, because Rakan can lock you down, but Rakan's also squishy, like we talked about in Champ Select, went for the Shirelias as the mythic item, so Prismal just bursts him down, and now they have all this vision control yet again. They haven't swept these wards, or the brushes in the Dragon Pit, and they are spotted out, so I don't think the Death Brush will come through. Immortals wise to that, but are they just going to give it over for free again, or will they actually contest this time around?
I think they kind of have to. They don't really have the setup for this as nice.
Damage onto Newbie to start things out. Viper, and there we go!
There it is!
CC! Prismal's out of the fight. Well set up by Viper. Now they just got to clean it up. A double kill onto Pretty, the
Pretty.
Heartbreaker. Niles in a 1v2 situation. Yummy trying to peel for himself, but Niles can't do enough on his own. He's fed, but not that fed. Viper gets the shutdown. Dragon earned by Immortals.
And that's exactly the picture that we painted, Kangas, right? Viper needs to find the flank, needs to find the angle, needs to find the kick, and give that man the Golden Boot Award because he kicks Prismal right into Joey, who gets knocked up, and Pretty is able to get the first kill, find the resets, and Immortals, they wipe the fight, they take the Dragon, they take the Baron, and all of a sudden they are in cruise control for this game.
That was such a big momentum swing into their favor. It was looking dire there, Cubby, because we talked about the scaling of Golden Guardians, the fairly slow pace of the game, but now there's a fight. Now there's the big objectives taken here, and that's going to give so many more options to Immortals. It starts with Ruby getting chunked out, but that, oh.
And Viper, it would have hit Yunbi as well, who intelligently burned Flash. That's how good that kick was from the top laner for Immortals, and Pretty. He sees that window. Niles, he's so fed. He honestly survived so long in this fight, but just not enough as the rest of his team melted around him thanks to that engage from Viper that was followed up upon beautifully by Joey. And that's the team play that we want to see out of these Academy squads. And the Immortals' new roster might have had their hiccups a little bit in the early game, but damn, does Viper make up for it with that play right there.
This is why Viper is such a dangerous player in the amateur and academy ecosystem. He's got that clutch factor, man. He's got that ability to just find the play that the team needs to get back into the game. Now with the Baron, looks like their game plan is to start pushing in on this mid lane. They also got priority bot side, so multiple turrets being sieged, but we do see the answer from Niles top half. I think he'll actually get that tier 2 turret.
Yeah, and IMT, they are okay with that. Not the end of the world for them, as we do see Pretty. Nice rotation actually coming out from IMT. Pretty's going to go base, pick up that wave. Whereas he stacked up a massive wave on the bot side, so Immortal's going to follow that through and take that bot inner turret. Good map play from them. They're not going to force Golden Guardians to respawn in the bot lane. And utilizing Baron buff rather well to take these neutral objectives and keep on pumping gold into their members as they need to come back. They need to find a gold lead to go up against the carries for Golden Guardians that scale so hard.
They're really pressing this Baron forward. Keith walking up, taking down that bottom inhibitor turret to about half health. And Golden Guardians on the back foot right now. They have the scaling options. They just got to keep their heads on straight. Make sure that they don't lose too much for this Baron. And they can recover from this, but Immortals want to put the pedal to the metal. Viper, don't get engaged on under turret. There we go. Mobility gets him out safely. Joey popping that Shirelias. Do they actually go for the engage? No, I think it was just to make sure that they get out after the turret goes down. This is a very successful Baron play, though, regardless of if they get more from this. That's already 3 turrets that have gone down.
As you mentioned, Kangas, this was more of a scrappy game than one where we're trading and taking down turrets. So thanks to that, Immortals, they did have a lot of structures to take down, and it's a lot of gold in their pockets now. As with this Baron, it's been about a 4K power play, the guesstimate that we have here between these teams. And Kangas, we finally have ourselves a close game on the mainstream here today as Game 1 of Immortals versus Golden Guardians Academy is delivering. Both these new rosters having some good looks for this one, but Immortals find themselves ahead after that beautiful team fight at the Dragon led by Viper off that engage. And now we're going to have to see if this next Dragon, if they can find another flank like that, or if Golden Guardians do a better job of spotting and marking Lee Sin to prevent an engage like that.
If you're a Golden Guardians, you have to be processing that now because Viper just got that for free, basically. But now it's actually Niles alone in the side lane. And Pretty find themselves in a 2v1. Actually, it's a 3v1. Joey's even joined in on the action. Throwing Keith, just for good measure. Easy pickup. Niles in the side lane, dead. He will be up for the next Dragon, but more gold in the pocket of Immortals.
Nice find by Immortals. Nothing else to do on the map there. Might as well take out the Croc in the side lane that's poking his nose out a little bit too far from the water. So Immortals, they should get base, get a reset, be able to set up for this Dragon, which currently, as a lot of members for Immortals were invested in that top side. Golden Guardians do have complete control over this river, minus the Scuttle Crab that Immortals have in their pockets. And I just want to see, let's keep our eyes out for Lee Sin once again. It feels like Viper and Joey, someone on the team of Immortals, they have to flank, right? You cannot fight front to back against the Azir Tristana. That is asking to lose. Immortals,
and Rel,
they understand this as a team. Yeah.
You got to get through multiple members that can peel Renekton and Rel. The Rumble as well is just going to be flame spittering you the whole time. You need to find that flank. You need to find that side play, just like last time around. So, hey, no pressure, Viper, but can you do it again? Because you're going to have to here. Golden Guardians are back on the map. They're ready to fight. They do still have their item breakpoints. Rosethorn still has that stopwatch. Yunbi still has that stopwatch too. So the reset city will be difficult for Pretty to pull off. And yeah, they're just pushing mid. Golden Guardians say, you can take the dragon. We're not in a rush right now. We're going to try and walk this wave in. But just as I say that, they will actually peel back.
I think Golden Guardians, a little bit of a split call there. Trying to take advantage of mid, but just were a little bit mistimed with where that dragon spawned and the waves. Immortals able to sneak in there with Keith and Viper, taking down with 2 members, now putting themselves on Ocean Soul Point. Newbie going to get a
lot of burst damage. Newbie in trouble, half health, so now Immortals are thinking, okay, that's their front line, right? That's also Dominus popped on Niles. We can look for a fight. They don't hard commit to it. Golden Guardians will back off and go for a reset. Keith, I thought he might go for the blue buff, but gets smite out of Rosethorn. But yeah, like you said, Golden Guardians, they wanted to push that mid and just kind of trade mid turret for the dragon potentially, but get neither, as Immortals have a very strong defense there, Pretty catching the mid wave. The rest of them staying on the dragon, and now Golden Guardians still scaling options, but their windows are getting smaller and smaller here because Immortals, they got the momentum swing in their favor, and I still favor the confidence that you get from this kind of swing, sometimes more than the gold itself, because they're just willing to go for the plays now.
Yeah, and also keep in mind the fact that we think theoretically that Golden Guardians, they scale really well, but Viego as a champion really throws a wrench in those plans, right? Because if you get 1 kill, you are able to take over the champion, and you get all your abilities back and refreshed.
Without interrupted Newbie's path with the blast code. Now they're trying to hard commit. They take him down. Support out of the picture for Golden Guardians. Now Immortals in a 5v4. Look at Viper on the flank. Does he go for it? He already used the Dragon's Rage. Yunbi throws out the Emperor's Divide to keep himself safe. Niles trying to frontline, but he doesn't have enough tanky stats.
Here comes
Through
Viego.
The Dominus, he goes down. Viego with the resets and the knockups. The double kill to Keith, making a triple kill to Kaisa. Immortals run through the team fight.
Pretty is determined to break the Viego curse as the Ruin King is hop, skipping, and jumping across all the champions of Golden Guardians, saying, I'm taking that soul for myself. Wipes the team fight with the help of Immortals, and when we get a replay of that one, I do want to talk about how well Anda played that on the Elise, baiting out the cooldowns of Golden Guardians and playing around that teleport. But until then, Kangas, with those kills going over to the side of Immortals, they have the space to knock down that mid-inner turret. Now the Baron, as they have another power play for themselves, and will have Baron up when Ocean Soul spawns. Most importantly, as Immortals have turned this 4K gold deficit into a 7K gold lead and have come roaring back into the first game of this best of 2.
I mean, we saw what they did with that first Baron. Let's see what they can do with the second one. But here's the play that starts it all off. It's Joey interrupting the blast code just barely.
Yeah, and after this, so Anda puts all the damage down on the newbie. Keith gets the solo Q as well, but watch Anda play this. Goes up in repel, drops on Niles, immediately hits Sonya so Niles can't blow up the Elise, and from here, the fight becomes so difficult for Golden Guardians because the Equalizer and the Rel combo, it's gone. Rel was taken away from that, and because Immortals are fighting with an advantage, Pretty on Viego becomes so oppressive because once one member goes down, you get the resets, you get to take over that champion, and all of a sudden, it turns everything against Golden Guardians, just like Immortals have turned this game against GGA and now in their favor.
They're pushing with the Baron right now. Will they get an inhibitor open this time around? They couldn't get one cracked last time, but that was still the 22-minute long or the 22-minute Baron. This time, it's much later into the game. They can actually take these turrets much faster. And key item breakpoints being hit here as well. Keith with 3.5 items plus that stopwatch. Pretty with 3 items plus that Quicksilver Sash, as well as Viper with those 3 items completed. Immortals are looking to fight. They have so many more stats than the side of Golden Guardians, who are just kind of trying to catch these waves, hoping that maybe their scaling will still be enough later on into the game. But Viper, there we go, the kick, and Keith with the full Nova flashing over the Empress Divide. Yunbi goes down. Keith gets the kill. Can they turn it around? Joey with a hero play, saving his team from Rosethorn. Immortals pick up 2. Immortals are going to get their first win of the summer split against Golden Guardians Academy. A double kill to Keith. Baron empowered minions pushing the bot side, and the Nexus turrets are going down. Prismal will watch as the only member left here. Niles in a 1v1 against Pretty on the top side. We could check that out. There we go. Pretty's going to get the solo kill to boot things off. There we go. Prismal dies too. GG Immortals Academy. Really impressive stuff from them to come back into this game.
Immortals, they take the win. Someone give Viper the Golden Boot Award. I know that he's in Canada, but man, what a kick to help bring his team back into the game. And Immortals, props to them. Snowballed it from there, right? That was all they needed with the comp that we thought didn't scale quite as well as the front-to-back comp of Golden Guardians. They just were able to set up those fights better beforehand, had the members in the right spots to find the flanks, and to punishing Golden Guardians and taking that game 1 for themselves.
And it really, again, the early parts of the game were so scrappy. They were just fighting over nothing. They were fighting just for the joy of League of Legends, I guess, and also the little bit of gold that you get from getting those kills too. But eventually they started to clean it up, and that play from Viper, that focus from that point of Immortals was very clean. Once they got that lead back in their favor, it was just objective after objective, fight after fight going in their favor. And that's, if you're Golden Guardians, you were in a very comfortable position. During that game, you had it. You had the scaling. You had the gold lead, and all you had to do was hold on. But Viper, man, he just shows up and ruins their day.
Yeah, and I mean, happy for Viper, too, because there were a couple Lee Sin combos that were a little sus. He was kind of the imposter on the team early on.
Canada diff.
Ended up proving his worth, proving that he was a part of the squad the entire time, ends up pretty much winning his team the game off of that. Also, props to Joey, who had fantastic follow-up engages throughout the entirety of the game. And Immortals, I mean, we have high hopes for this squad as the split moves on, right? Once Viper and Anda are in the facility, fully integrated, we think this is a team that can compete at the top of the table of Academy. And the fact that they were able to take a game that was going that way and turn it right on its head against a roster that we made also pretty hopeful for Golden Guardians Academy, who had a really nice showing in Proving Grounds this last split. I think it really shows the potential that Immortals and this new squad have in this Academy season.
Immortals looking good after that win. Golden Guardians on the back foot in this best of 2 series. We're going to send it over to another break here before we get back for our final game of week 1 of Academy 2021. It's been a hell of a kickoff, and I can't wait to bring it home with you, Cubby. Again, right back after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.